the FDA and the regulation of what, or maybe it's USDA, but what you can say on packaging. It's all legal terms for marketing. So I think there's a range that you can say something is like high in protein or a good source of protein,
even if it's not.
Even if it's like 5 grams, good source of protein, right? You're legally allowed to label something with if it falls in that range, right?
You're telling me the government lied for profit? They lied to the people to make money? Since when?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh, that would never happen.
You're just misunderstanding what I'm saying.
Got it. That would never happen.
No, of course not.
Us here at the Bridge Podcast would never suggest that the government would ever lie and enslave the population. Welcome back to the Bridge Podcast.
The Bridge.
I am your host, Sean Nixon.
I am also your host, John Matthew. Who we got today?
We got Bab. Bob
B-O-B.
is trying to get some health. All right? So we've covered Maria was losing fat. Fucking Joey Gabagool was building some muscle.
Joey Cannoli.
They're both happy and healthy and whole and content and kicking ass with their aesthetic goals. Poor Bob here is having a rough go at it.
I'd say so.
But we're going to realize that you can't control any outside circumstances, but what you can do is take personal responsibility for your health.
Absolutely.
And control the things you can control, which in this case is a fucking lot, and that's all you can ever control, right? So Bob's 38. He's a 38-year-old man, right? And he's on all kinds of pills because he has... I don't want to say mental illness. What's the word? Mental health issues, specifically depression, right? And he also has some autoimmune diseases, such as psoriasis, meaning his skin breaks out a little bit, type 2 diabetes.
Diabetes testimeters?
Which means his fucking
Pancreas
insulin sensitivity is all fucked up, right? And some IBS, some irritable bowel syndrome. So he has a lot of gas, potentially some GERD or some acid reflux, definitely some fucking diarrhea and some gas and whatnot. And his dick don't work like it used to,
ED.
Which is a big deal for health markers and fucking life. Thank you. So his goal is health, more specifically to be happy and healthy and whole and complete and live a long life to play with his kids and get off the pills that he's on, okay? So he went to the doctor saying that, my dick doesn't work, I'm shitting my pants, my blood sugar's all fucked up, my skin's breaking out, and I'm depressed. So the doctor doesn't say, eat right, exercise, take vitamin D. He throws SSRIs and pills at him for the depression. He doesn't say do an elimination diet. He throws creams and pills at him for the psoriasis. He doesn't say stop eating carbs and do some resistance training, the doctor. He just throws pills at him for the diabetes, for the type 2. And the IBS, he's like, well, you're fucked anyway, so you might as well take some Pepto-Bismol and get the fuck out of my office and come back when you need more drugs. So now Bob has 5 Band-Aids and no healing cures, all right? So Bob is smart enough, because he's been listening to the podcast, that he comes to us, right? And he knows that autoimmune diseases and mental health diseases you can 100% fix through diet and lifestyle. That is correct. We are not doctors. Do not flush your pills down the toilet right away, but know that you do not have to be on the pills for forever. And if your doctor is not giving you the tools to get off those pills ASAP and using the pills as a bridge to a healthy lifestyle, then you need another fucking doctor, okay? Or you just go to them for general checkups and blood work, and you come to health professionals like us to get a holistic approach to health and fitness and wellness, okay?
Yeah, medicine is for when you're sick. Health is for being healthy, right? So
healing is your responsibility every single motherfucking day. If you break your leg or get fucking strep throat or something, you might need a doctor.
100%.
The rest of it mental stuff and digestive stuff and skin stuff is on you.
Absolutely.
When your
under
skin
control.
breaks out, it just means your liver is angry and it can't filter all the toxins, so it's spewing them out through the skin.
When you say like liver is angry, what you're really saying is it's under stress, right?
Under stress.
And all now science is, holistic or alternative, as people would like to say, is like, or nutrition and all that stuff's they've been saying for years, is being validated by science now, saying that stress leads to inflammation, and most of disease is caused by inflammation. So
stress, inflammation, disease. All right. So, and you said alternative health and stuff like that. To me, that should be primary.
Yeah, like your primary health is the person who gives you the pills and the Band-Aids, right?
They say primary healthcare physician, and all they do is fucking take your blood pressure and throw pills at you most of the time.
I can do that.
Your primary healthcare physician should be you.
There you go.
Was that Socrates or Hippocrates?
One of those critiques.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking when medicine is thy food, food is thy medicine. And if you're not your own doctor, you're a fool.
You done fucked up.
You done fucked up. And he said that thousands of years ago, and it applies even more today.
Unless you want to pay more for healthcare, unless you want to do that, then it's absolutely fine forever. But there's a better way. We're going to help Bob do that.
Definitely a better way. Bobby is a restaurant owner. So he has a whole, because we mentioned stress leads to inflammation. So here's the deal. Bob's divorced. His ex-wife is breaking his balls all the time. The kids come with their own natural, kids are innocent, but you got to deal with their stress. He's a restaurant owner, so he's having trouble paying the bills because the fucking COVID and government nonsense is fucking with his income. Like I said, the ex-wife's always breaking his balls, alimony, child support, blah, blah, blah. He's a 6 foot tall, 38-year-old male that weighs approximately 220. Doctor says, and we pretty much agree, he'd be healthier around 200, but we're not going to make this program specifically a caloric deficit with fat loss as the goal.
Yeah.
The full goal is to be happy and healthy and whole and off the pills, okay?
Yeah, weight loss will be maybe a result of getting healthy, and that's fine, but it's not going to be the primary goal as it was for Maria.
Exactly. He's sitting around 32% body fat, which is average dad bod. And you're not going to be shredded until at least 10%. And you're not going to be like fit until about 15%. But he's going to be healthy at about 25% body fat. So cutting down a percentage of body fat here. And, as far as support system, like I said, he's got all these employees at the restaurant. And he's got his ex-wife breaking his balls. So he has no time to, 6 days a week he's working, 7 days a week he's working. Because when you're an entrepreneur and
you're
self-employed,
running everything, yeah.
Well, as you and I both know, you're
it.
running the whole fucking show, and there's no Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. There's fucking 24/7.
Just week 1, right? Week 2,
That's
week 3.
And so as far as a support system, he knows he doesn't have all the time. Because when you're Googling stuff, here's the deal. All the right information and all the wrong information is on the internet. So now you're wasting time and energy and getting paralysis by analysis and overthinking everything and potentially going down the wrong rabbit holes. Wrong for you.
Yeah.
So he's going to come to us for the most efficient and optimal way to get healthy and looking good and feeling good. All right. So we're going to be his support system, and that's the deal. So as far as background information, he's not working out whatsoever because of all these things. The ex-wife kicking his ass, the divorce kicking his ass, the restaurant, COVID, all this nonsense. But he's a former college football player, right? So he has the athletic frame. He's just not consistently exercising until today. And we're coming back. Well, not today. Today we're doing his consultation. Wednesday we're going to get to his exercise, all right? So, step 1. Just like we broke down step 1 for Joey Bag of Donuts and Joey Calzone.
Joey Cannoli.
Joey Cannoli and Maria. Their step 1 was just starting to eat healthy and track everything and become aware of what they're eating and start more general movement. All right? So we're going to take it a step back even for Bob, because not only is he further into dis-ease, but like I said, his aesthetics are not his main goal. He doesn't really give a Frenchman's fuck what he looks like. He just wants to be healthy and have longevity for the kids, and he's smart enough to know he needs to flush the pills down the toilet eventually. So his first step is to actually drink water, because Bob is on that coffee for breakfast, fucking calzones for lunch, Chinese food, and a beer for dinner. And red wine with everything. And when was the last time
negatively
you had water?
hydrated?
Now you're getting it. So we're gonna get him a water bottle and some water goals. And he's just gonna fucking start drinking water. Imagine that. Now, for everybody else, we didn't mention supplements. Not that these supplements aren't important, but for Bob that has all this high inflammation and these autoimmune things, we're going to go with the general blanket of things that he definitely needs.
So sure.
Other supplements are a maybe, we'll see, it depends, and definitely not necessary.
Yep.
These 3 supplements are super necessary, and we're going to start pumping them day 1 to help lower inflammation. Fish oil, a good quality source of fish oil. A lot of things are you get what you pay for, specifically fish oil.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter if it's liquid, or I prefer liquid, but it doesn't matter if it's liquid or capsules. What matters is that it's a good source of wild caught cold water fish with a proper ratio of DHA and EPA. But my recommendation to be specific would be Carlson's. Anything from Carlson's is a great brand, Norwegian, super clean stuff with great ratios. And the fish oil must be stored in the refrigerator, okay? So these are delicate fats that oxidize very quickly, omega-3 fats. So in the heat, they actually become, when they oxidize, they become pro-inflammatory, not just neutral. They will fuck you up even more.
Fats can become rancid.
They can become rancid, thank you. So they're anti-inflammatory if you take the proper dosage, which for Bob, let's call it 3 to 6 grams a day. So a big fat tablespoon, the large spoon full, or 6 capsules. At night is preferable, but since he's in bad shape, maybe he's going breakfast and dinner because he hasn't eaten omega-3 fat since fucking Vietnam.
What's a fish?
Yeah, exactly. What's a fish? I fried a fucking branzino the other day at the restaurant.
Is he Joey Cannoli's uncle? Is this Boo
Bob?
Yes.
This is because here's the thing. You can make all the Irish and Italian jokes you want, and nobody bats an eye. Everybody's like, yeah, fuck them, they're white. And they just keep laughing. All right?
That's true.
Don't worry. We'll get to you. We'll get to you later. We'll get to everybody eventually with the fucking jokes. All right? But the woke brigade's not slapping the cuffs or canceling anybody for making fun of white people. So, fucking Bobby Bacala over here.
Bobby Boucher.
Right? Bobby Bacala is going to go with 3 to 6 grams of fish oil, preferably at night, but he's in such bad shape he can go morning and night because he's a ball of inflammation. He's going magnesium. You can go magnesium glycinate or citrate. Any supplement you get, you never go oxide because that's A, a bunch of man-made garbage.
Yeah.
B, does not it's not absorbable
in the body.
So he'll go with, let's just say, magnesium citrate. 600 to 800 milligrams before bed is nice. And then he's going to go with a very nice vitamin D. Super necessary for all these autoimmune stuff he's got and the depression. Once again, we like a lot of baby birds and one big stone and just tweet, 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 and just blasting baby birds, 2 birds with 1 stone. Multiple birds, 1 stone. Vitamin D is going to fucking whack that. And so is the fish oil. Brain health, cognitive function, neuroplasticity, mental health issues, the whole deal. Antioxidation, thank you. So fish oil, magnesium, vitamin D, maybe 10,000 IUs of vitamin D. It's a little high, but guess what? He's low, so we'll pump him up.
Inside all day, in the back, cooking.
Exactly. He hasn't seen the sun since fucking his honeymoon in the Bahamas, and he had a farmer's tan, and that was it. So we're pumping him with vitamin D, and we'll get to bringing him back to nature and real sunlight eventually. All right? His only exercise in step 1 is he's got his water, he's got his supplements, which those 2 things are already layering in habits. All right? His only exercise is going to be walking. If you're I was going to say a fat fuck, but let's not say it like that. If you're severely overweight and deconditioned and sedentary, first day you walk out, you touch the mailbox, you come back. You go a little further,
Yeah.
To the end of the block, and you come back. Next thing you know, you're walking around the block. Next thing you know, you're at your 10,000 steps, maybe more.
Yeah, make it as easy as possible to build a habit.
Baby steps.
You don't go run a marathon the first day.
Tiny habits. No marathon. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to run 3 miles today.
And then it sucks.
When was the
and you're
last
like,
time you
I'm never
ran?
working out again. Yeah.
Fucking 1982? Get
Yeah.
out of here. No, exactly. And then you fail and you fall off. We're making this shit baby steps, tiny habits, so it's sustainable because Bob's got fucking 80 more years on this planet. And we want to be happy and healthy and whole the whole way. So he's just adding some walking. 30 minutes in the morning would be nice if he has time. 30 minutes at night would be nice before bed, like an after dinner long walk. If he doesn't have time for that, you always have time for 3 10-minute walks after each meal.
Yep.
All right. And then, so that's the only exercise we're adding. We got the supplement routine, we got the water habit, we got the walking habit. Getting into just healthy habits. Nothing crazy, no burpees, no fucking juice cleanses, elimination diets, fucking vegan, keto, water fast. None of that. But what we are going to do is an elimination diet. Not a full-blown FODMAPs elimination diet where we're fucking not
Taking
eating
everything
anything
out?
except for fucking boiled chicken and half a grain of rice. But what we're going to do is pull out the 2 major things that pretty much every person should pull out eventually for a period of time. I mean, just to see how you feel.
Just to observe, yeah.
Just to observe.
Awareness.
No gluten and no dairy, okay? Conventional dairy causes a lot of inflammation because of how poorly they're treating the cows, and you probably don't have the digestive enzymes unless you're less than 2 years old to be drinking fucking milk, all right? Some people can, and go right ahead. For me, I only eat fermented dairy, meaning like yogurt and select cheeses and whatnot. But so for Bob, we're just saying no dairy whatsoever for now, till we get the inflammation down. And then the best part about an elimination diet is, after say 30 days and he's feeling good, 60 days, X amount of time, we add one thing back in at a time to see how his body reacts to it.
If he goes right back, has an episode,
we mark it down as that's a no-no for
now we
Bob.
know.
All right, but right now he's got gas and he's shitting his pants every time that he fucking eats. And if you're burping, farting, and having either constipation or diarrhea after every meal, something's wrong with your digestion.
Yeah, I mean, no one likes to talk shit, but let's talk shit for a sec.
We're gonna talk boners and shit on this fucking
Not
show.
Not
in the same
sentence.
realm necessarily, but.
Yeah,
If you're farting and shitting your pants and your dick's not working, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, we have you can't see your liver, you can't see your intestines. So the only real evidence you have of how the insides of your body are functioning is what comes at the other end, right?
It's reflected on the outside. Your skin eliminates waste, and your digestive system eliminates waste.
So make an observation, because there's lots of people.
That's why we're getting them moving, because then we're just flushing the lymphatic system and cleaning up the digestive system. We're not even getting to the fucking skeletal muscle shit yet.
Just putting some Drano in there. Just
Not recommended. But so for day 1, no gluten, no dairy. All right, and we're going a minimum of 30 days with this. No cheats on this, because, like I said, eventually we'll add back in one thing at a time and see how it goes. So it's not a full elimination diet, but he's going to go no gluten, no dairy. Everyone should try that just to see how they feel. And guess what? You're probably going to feel a lot better. But he's also going to get an allergy test done and blood work. And Bob has found out that he cannot digest legumes. So legumes are going to be your beans, your lentils, and peanut butter. Peanuts are not nuts. They are legumes. People think they're a high protein source. They're not. People think they're a healthy fat like nuts. They're not.
So the reason they think they're a high protein source and lots of other things get labeled as this, is the FDA and the regulation of what, or maybe it's USDA, but what you can say on packaging. It's all legal terms for marketing. So I think there's a range that you can say something is like high in protein or a good source of protein,
Even if it's not.
if it's like 5 grams, good source of protein, right? You're legally allowed to label something with if it falls in that range, right?
You're telling me the government lied for profit? They lied to the people to make money? Since when?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh, that would never happen.
You're just misunderstanding what I'm saying.
Got it. That would never happen.
No, of course not.
Us here at the Bridge Podcast would never suggest that the government would ever lie and enslave the population. But Bob's going to go no gluten, no dairy, no legumes. All right? So he's going to go almond butter instead of peanut butter. He's not going to go fuck with any fucking pasta vazul fucking soup no more.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And he's going to start walking. Okay? So he's got his water, his fish oil, his magnesium, his vitamin D. No gluten, no dairy, no legumes. And he's going for 3 10-minute walks. That's it. We're not getting
Keep
crazy
it simple.
yet.
Keep it simple.
That's step one, or phase one. Phase two. This is where we're adding in. Phase one's maybe a week or two because we do want to get him in the gym.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's going to be creating another habit though, so we don't layer it in right away. We also don't care how much he's eating yet, just trying to eat healthier, and all we've told him is to avoid gluten and dairy and legumes, right? For now. But phase two, we're getting in the gym and we're adding our resistance training, okay? We're also going to look at what he's been eating, and we're going to give him a general range of calories, not a big caloric deficit, because just cleaning up the diet and going for walks and now adding lifting weights, that's going to create enough of a deficit to knock the first couple of pounds off. So we do not need to eat, calculate every morsel and weigh and measure everything, because that's too much for Bob with the fucking kids every other weekend and the restaurant.
Yeah, we're barely getting him to go out for walks and do that kind of stuff. So we're just
baby steps,
making it as accessible of something for him as possible.
Tiny habits for sustainability. But I want it now.
Of course you do.
Of course you do. But you're not a fucking 2-year-old, and life is long. It's the longest thing you'll ever do.
Patience is a virtue.
Patience. All right. So we're going to give him general macronutrient ratios, which I usually just say more protein, more vegetables, a little bit less sugar.
Yep.
Not afraid of healthy fats, but we're not guzzling healthy fats. And a general range of calories, because this is where we're adding the lifting weights. And this stage of phase one, phase two is going to go for a long time, because we got fish oil, water, magnesium, vitamin D, no gluten, no dairy, no legumes. We're walking, lifting weights, and eating relatively healthy, where we don't have to make a big caloric deficit. All right? So that's X amount of time. With fat loss with Maria, we knew how long it was going to be because we're checking on the scale, her markers and stuff like that, and we knew when we had to either add cardio or subtract calories. And the same thing with fucking Joey Calzone is we knew if his lifts weren't going up and the scale wasn't going up, we needed to add some calories, some volume to the bodybuilding program, and more importantly, add calories, right? So the steps were kind of linear. This is, we're just checking in. How do you feel? We're going to ask everybody that every session, but more importantly is better, same, or worse than the day before. How are the it's not, I am depressed. Are you still depressed, Bob? No, because then we're fucking using our words to identify with depression.
Yeah.
It's how are you feeling, and are we still experiencing some symptoms of anxiety or depression? How's the skin look? Because that can clear up pretty quick. Usually takes at least 30 days because you got to flush toxins through the system, but you'll start looking better pretty quick, a couple weeks. Same thing with diabetes. Maybe he's got some better energy. Maybe he's sleeping better. And we'll come back to the sleep in a minute. And then same thing. IBS is going to clean up pretty quick if we're just not eating things.
Yeah, right. Eliminating the major triggers there. Yeah.
Beautiful. So real quick on sleep. He's only sleeping 5 hours, but it's not something that he's trying to do. He's not up all night with the headphones on playing against 12-year-olds in Call of Duty and whatnot. And he's not Netflixing it and binging episodes. He tries to go to sleep, and the depression, the anxiety is causing some insomnia because he's just inflamed and fucking not healthy, right?
Yeah.
But sleep is going to be some good medicine and some good healing. So, like I said, it's not turning off the video games or turning off the Netflix. Bob has to work on the computer because, like I said, he's an entrepreneur. He owns his own business. So what we're doing is, I don't want to say right after sundown, but let's call it 9 p.m., he puts on blue blocker glasses. Blue blocker glasses are going to block the blue light coming off of TVs, screens, and devices, and any lights in the house, artificial lighting, that's going to block your blue light receptors in your brain and tell your pineal gland to secrete some melatonin when it gets dark out so you can actually get sleepy. And then we're getting back on this melatonin at night, serotonin in the morning cycle, because when those are fucked up, and I've been there, you don't sleep well and you wake up with depression.
It's no good.
It's no good.
Yeah, and that blue light will just keep stimulating that sympathetic nervous system to keep running and running and running. It's like keeping your car running in the way you parked it in the garage, but you just go inside and keep it running. When you go in the morning, that thing's going to be on empty.
Smoking. So, blue blocker glasses come on Bob at 9 o'clock, and he's just fucking sleeping like a baby by 10 or 11. All right? So phase 2, like I said, we're adding the lifting weights. How many days a week? 4? Yeah, because it's more days than not.
Yeah.
And it leaves us room to maybe throw in a yoga class or cardio down the road, but way down the road, because right now we're just walking, lifting weights, and we have a general range of calories. And we're sleeping better, drinking more water, and we're on our elimination diet, so to speak, and eliminating trigger foods and inflammatory foods and foods we don't digest well, foods we're allergic to, and we're lifting some weights. All right? Phase 3 is where we're going to get into more mental, emotional, and spiritual stuff, because Bob's a former football player, so he is like a duck in water with this lifting weights. Yeah. He's loving it.
Back in the groove. Feels like he's back in the weight room in high school and college.
Building confidence. Yeah. All right? And that's all lifting weights is a tool. Sure. A myriad of benefits as far as cleaning up the insulin sensitivity for the type 2 diabetes. But it's giving him some mental confidence and helping with his mental health. So this is where we're going to add, and we're going to take that range of calories and maybe get a little bit more strict with it and create a bit of a caloric deficit. Because even though, when fat loss was the original goal for Maria, we were going deficit right away. Become aware, set your deficit, go. Bob's weeks and weeks, if not months in, before we even are subtracting calories. We just went from mindlessly eating shit to mindfully eating better, to programmed eating better, to now finally doing some calculating and creating a deficit. All right? So the diet's tightened a little bit more. Then we may add some cardio, because Bob used to rep 315 on the bench press in college for football. So he would like to touch 315 for one again, just to say that he still fucking got it. Yeah. And I completely get that. And that's not going to do too much for his physique or anything, but that's going to help mental health and confidence and feeling good. And it's just a nice little carrot. So then Bob gets on this rhythm, and he's like, hey, I fucking can't run for shit, but I'd love to run a 5K now that I'm feeling a little better. Yeah. So we start training for that. And by training for that, maybe 2 days a week, we go for a little jog action, and we still lift in 4 days a week. Yeah. All right, because now he's running downhill and he's got some confidence and he's dropped some weight and his knees and his back don't hurt. He's off some of the pills. He's not shitting his pants.
And he's feeling good.
He's feeling good, dude. He's got crowbar hard boners. He's knocking shit off the table like Ron Burgundy, dude. It's fucking tremendous. All right, he's back on Tinder. He's fucking swiping all over the place. It's tremendous. Bobbo. So we're fucking adding a little bit of cardio, okay? But we're still lifting weights and we've created our caloric deficit. So that's like the finishing touches on like the physical health. Then we get into mental, emotional, and spiritual stuff. We haven't even with fucking Joey Parmesan and with Joey Parmesan and Maria, we didn't even get into any emotional and spiritual. Not that won't come up down the road, but we want to get to those physical goals first. That's going to trickle into mental confidence, and then emotional and spiritual stuff will either work itself out, or some people aren't ready to go that deep. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that, because the layers work all together.
Yeah, whether they know it or not.
Whether you know it or not, they may be connected. All right, but since Bob only wants to feel good and he's feeling better, but he needs to create habits for healing himself every single day and take personal responsibility for his health, this is where we're adding in breath work and meditation. They're not the same thing, but they do go together. And we've talked before about breath work is kind of like the on-ramp, because you can feel it quicker and it takes less time. It's more tangible.
It's a doing thing.
It's actual work instead of don't think thoughts and sit still.
Look, how do I not think thoughts about not thinking thoughts?
Crazy, right? Think about not thinking.
Yeah.
The other day, I was in such a cool meditation that I was deciphering myself from my ego, from my higher self, all in my head. Like Freud would call it id, ego, and superego, but like I'm calling it like higher self, little self, big self, and ego, right? And the ego is always like a tough guy, trickster, jokester, jerk off, like chiming in, and I could literally tell when that voice, because those voices get crossed up in your head all the time.
100%.
But I was able to separate like who I am. I'm like, okay, I am this voice in my head. The ego wants to do all this fucking wild cowboy shit, right? So I'm able to separate that. Then the higher self doesn't speak in words. It's all feelings. So as I'm breathing, I realize I can go, and I took this from Paul Chek, asking yes or no questions. Like, higher self, tell me, and this could be whatever. God, universe, call it whatever you want. Yeah. Right. Like I said, Freud called it the superego. Some people call it the universe, Mother Nature. people talking to God and you're praying and whatever. I'm calling it a higher self, right? And that's speaking in without words, as Rumi would say, and feelings and emotions, right? So I got all the chakras fucking blasting, right? And I ask myself like yes or no questions. Tell me what it would feel like for my higher self to say yes. And right here you get like wong, 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 and it felt really good. And I go, tell me what it would feel like if I asked you a yes or no question and you said no. And it's just in the pit of my stomach, like somebody lying to you, and you know they're lying. And it fucking just feels terrible. And I did that back and forth a couple of times. I was like, oh shit. So I can contact my higher self, know that my ego is a jokester, but I use them for fuel to get stuff done. And then I know that myself is that normal voice in my head.
Yeah, when I start to, when I start to disassociate from the ego, what I'll notice is it's kind of like it wants your attention more than anything.
Of course.
So I always laugh when I start to disassociate because it'll be thinking thoughts, and as soon as I start to distance myself, it's like a little puppy or a kid that just is making fun of you or saying stuff.
Mommy,
it's just like that.
Ma,
it's just like that.
Mama,
Hi.
Mommy, It's just like that.
It's just like that. It becomes more and more ridiculous the more you ignore it because it wants your attention. The more
you go, sit, I'm running the show.
Yeah.
And those little wins add up.
If you yell at your dog because it's pissing on the chair, it's going to keep pissing on the chair every time you yell.
And it's just causing it even more. You're like, okay, buddy.
Yeah, Tom and Jerry in yourself here.
Yeah, don't fucking Tom and Jerry yourself. You're like, okay, buddy, sit. The funniest, you ever see Ram Dass when he's like, okay, become aware of your thoughts and let them go. He's like, I'm hungry. Okay, let it go. I'm tired. Okay, let it go. My knee hurts. Okay, let it go. And then he's like, where you really fuck up is no thoughts. And it's like, oh, it's working. It's working.
Oh,
I'm doing it. And then you fucking, every thought is, believe me, I'm real. Believe me, I'm real.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, ego.
Come on.
Relax. I'm running the show.
That's all right.
You chill. You sit over there. I'm running the show. Yeah. And then if we need to fucking ask my higher self for something, we'll get to that. But you sit over there and come
it's
the
like
fuck down.
it's a dog on a leash, right? If your dog starts chasing a squirrel, you don't run with the dog chasing the squirrel down the street.
Some people do.
Some people do, right?
You say, what do you do? Sit, stay, relax. And what does the dog do? I want to go. And then eventually, he relaxes.
Yeah.
And it's a fucking nice relationship you guys get. So that's why we got Bob doing some breath work. Now, we've talked about specific breath work before. We got him already from day one. He's breathing through his nose all day, and he's not breathing through his mouth, huffing and puffing into his neck, chest, and lungs. He's nose breathing now, and he's diaphragmatically breathing and bracing when he's lifting weights. So he knows how to use his diaphragm and breathe through his nose. So we're at least on that step. Now, he could do 30 hyperventilating breaths on some Wim Hof shit to stimulate some DMT and feel really good. He could do some hyperoxygenate the red blood cells, fucking where you're inhaling more oxygen than you are expelling CO2. Oh, so you're getting nice and juiced up there. Nice. Or it could be something simple like box breathing, 4 to 6 seconds. Let's call it 4 seconds inhale, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds exhale, 4 seconds hold at the bottom, a couple of rounds of that. I like 4 second inhale through the nose, 8 second hold, 8 second forceful exhale for
Double
4
the
rounds.
exhales,
Dude, that'll change lives.
Stimulates parasympathetic
right there,
nervous system.
boom. Stimulating parasympathetic nervous system, changing your whole body's chemistry, changing the pH, lowering inflammation, changing mood that quickly. You are in control of this whole vehicle. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do what you fucking want to do and you have to take pills and you're fucking doomed for forever. You are in control of this body. You can lower your breath rate, which lowers your heart rate, which can lower your brain waves. And now your heart and brain and lungs are synced up. And you're feeling good. All right. So we're starting them with breath work. Like I said, there's a million different ways you can do it. We're giving them box breathing once a day. And on the weekends when he has more time, he's doing some Wim Hof just to get super high without any drugs and feeling really good. You want to get high? Yeah, y'all want to get high. But how are we going to layer in Bob's meditation practice? Because that is super important. And we've discussed before, there's a couple of key times you can do it. You can do morning as soon as you wake up before you even touch the phone and get identify with your ego and just go, you're sleeping, so you're in theta brainwaves, and you continue the theta brainwaves, and before you even get into the bullshit of the day, you go right into meditation. You can schedule it just like you schedule a workout. You can do it before bed to wind down, or you can do mini pauses throughout the day. So what's the easiest way to start, Bob? I think we just get him an app, like a Headspace or something like that.
It's a guided meditation.
And then guided, and the app fucking, what's the word, pings you, gives you a notification.
Hello. Take a breath.
Hello. Breathe through your nose and stop being a fat fucking American, eh?
Is that Australian or British?
I don't fucking know. I got a lot of Australian fans, so I fucking love it. Hello, mate. Good day. That's fucking horrible right there. They were probably cracking up right now.
Unlimited steak and lobster.
Yo, that's what that type of Australian because that's
commercialized
the thing.
Dundee Australian.
That's the bullshit Dundee. He's like, throw another shrimp on the barbie. They're like, what the fuck is shrimp?
No, that's a knife.
Right, but in Australia, they call it prawns. They don't even got shrimp. So it's like it's already Americanized Hollywood.
Australia,
bullshit.
one of the coolest places I've ever been to.
Oh, dude, you been?
100%.
Fuck.
I gotta go again, for sure.
Where?
I went Sydney, Canberra, Cairns, Melbourne.
Shit.
Yeah, dude.
Shout out to Australia.
Dope.
It's awesome.
Absolutely dope.
So we'll go, Bob will just schedule, and we're not going to do 20, 30, 60-minute fucking mantras and crazy mushrooms and sage and incense and stuff. He's just taking a time out, putting the guided headphones on for 5 minutes, and eventually it progresses to maybe 20.
Yep.
Nothing crazy. Just a daily meditation practice where he's stopping the outside world, being still, breathing through his nose, observing his thoughts, letting the bullshit go.
Yeah, some people will be like, oh, well, guided meditations aren't good or guided meditations are better. It doesn't matter. Whatever's going to get you to sit down and pause for a moment.
Something is something.
Dude. Yeah.
Something is something. Maybe he's breathing in, breathing out, and saying, let go.
Yeah.
He's letting go of his stress. Maybe he's inhaling the good shit, exhaling the bad shit.
Sometimes you just kind of find out what works for you.
Find out what works
the
for
moment
you.
you attach an ideal expectation of it, now you're just going up. Now it becomes a stressful thing. Well, I'm not meditating correctly. That's the no.
Defeats the whole fucking purpose
Yeah.
here. Defeats its own purpose, right? Maybe he's inhaling.
You're doing like a loving kindness kind of meditation.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Inhaling, like saying that he loves himself, and exhaling that he forgives himself.
What's that? There's a Buddhist meditation. I forget the name of the exact form of meditation, but it's really we're sending out love towards other, breathing in for yourself and sending out towards others. And there's a reverse of that too, pulling it in.
So he's forgiving himself and loving himself, breathing in, breathing out for 5 minutes. That's all. All right. Phase 4, because now he's loving all this shit. He's lifting weights. He's running a little bit. He's meditating every day. The walks and the water and the supplements have become a no-brainer because we layered them in first. And it's the same way I do training. Like, before I'm worrying about leg drive and all this crazy shit, I'm getting the fucking patterning down. So the actual movement of where the weights are going becomes autonomic and secondary. And now we can focus on something else. Focus on a stabilizer. Focus on a secondary muscle. Focus on your breathing, your bracing. Something like that. So it's the same thing. His water, his supplements, and his walking are a no-brainer. He never had a problem with the resistance training and the running. So now, all right, you're set, Bob. You ready for the curveball? Breath work and meditation. Breathing through the nose. This is literally, we're talking five minutes. The breath work could be 2 minutes. The meditation could be 4 to 5. Less than 10 minutes a day for mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Makes a big difference, okay? The doctor, God bless him, forgot to mention this when he threw the pills at him. All right? He forgot. We'll give him benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
So, phase 4, like everybody, is the reflection period. So, when it was Maria, we did a reflection period of who cares what the scale says? How do you look and feel? How do your dresses feel? Do we want to cut more or not? Great. Fucking Joey Parmesan had a reflection period of, do we want to do a mini cut and then keep bulking? Are you ready to keep bulking or switch to a performance goal? Whatever. Bob's reflection period, since there's not really an aesthetic goal, is just to more deeply see how he feels. But at this point, we send him back to the doctor. We know he has to flush the pills down the toilet. Don't flush the pills down the toilet. Get off the pills, let's say.
Yeah.
But we're not going to tell him when that is. The doctor's going to tell him when that is based upon blood work. Okay. So he goes back, sees the doctor. The doctor clears him. Now he's on no pills and he's loving life. But he has enough money and needs us for accountability and the next steps of healing. So he stays on to maybe do some yoga, definitely do some meditation. He's still lifting weights with us. But his reflection period is, like I said, check up at the doctor and blood work to see if he can get rid of the pills and where he's on the next point.
Yeah.
Okay?
Physical feedback.
Physical feedback. Speaking of physical, he's so happy he is ready for his 5K because he's lost 20 pounds. He's off the pills. He's feeling good. He hit 315 on the bench. He wants to run a 5K. Not that that's going to help him lose more weight.
It's like it's a fun goal.
A fun goal that says, I set a goal and I accomplished something. So that's fucking helping more
huge.
mental and emotional and spiritual if you're achieving goals than it is physical at all. Sure, you're burning calories when you're running. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, right.
Nobody gives a fuck. But here's the thing. The ex-wife, Terry, is not breaking his balls so much.
Bob and Terry.
Not breaking his balls so much. She sees he's a changed man. And he's got his shit together now, and he's healthy, so she's giving him more time with the kids, and he gets to take them camping and fishing, so now he's connecting with nature and tribe at the same damn time. So now you're seeing these important pillars that we talked upon before for holistic health, and we're layering them the same way. Oh, I don't have time to do breathwork meditation and go for a walk. You stack them on top of each other. I don't have time to go fishing, hiking, get sunshine and play with my kids. You do it all together and you take them hiking and camping and fishing. Now you're in the woods, disconnected from EMFs, connected back with nature and source.
And family.
And then you got your
community.
Family, your tribe, and your community.
Yeah.
And once again, a couple of baby birds, one big stone, we smash them all. All right? But he's ready to go a little deeper too with, once again, alternative healing, which we call primary healing because you should be taking care of yourself. Now Bob's getting massages to move the lymphatic system and take care of his muscles. He's going to acupuncture to fucking line up his meridians and get some chi flowing. He's doing some journaling so he can reflect on this path and writing down things that he forgives himself for.
A lot of self-healing from his relationship, from the work, the last entire year of his life. It's been
forgiving his
crazy.
ex-wife, forgiving himself. When you forgive somebody, that's a gift for you.
You release that.
Oh, you fucking carrying around all that shit. And you're like, I don't need to carry this anymore. I forgive you. Boom. It's not
gift
for them.
You give yourself.
Bro, it's a gift you give yourself. It's not for them. It's for you. Trust me about that. And it doesn't even matter. It's better if, and I've said this before, it's better if you can look them in the eye or send them a text message or an email or a phone call. But even if they're dead or you don't see them ever again, forgive them.
Yeah.
Say it out loud, write it down in the journal, and let it go. You want to write it on a piece of paper.
And burn it?
I forgive my ex-wife. I forgive myself. I love her for the mother of my children, and I love myself. And you fold it. You feel those emotions. You feel gratitude that you're alive and the forgiveness, and you burn that motherfucker. Throw it in the ocean. And it's gone.
Compostable.
Exactly. It's beautiful.
Don't put it in the bottle.
Right. So he's going massage, acupuncture, he's doing some meditation, some breath work, he's lifting weights, he's going camping with the kids. Maybe he's going to see a sound healer where he's getting 528 hertz of fucking vibrational healing, a sound bath of Tibetan bowls and chimes and tuning forks. He's
You've never had it done.
Oh, you're missing out. You're fucking up. Schedule yours immediately. A float tank, a sensory deprivation tank, where he's doing some inner work and some shadow work. Maybe he's smiling and doing affirmations in the mirror, some mirror work, holding his hands up in a victory pose, saying that he's happy and healthy and whole and complete. Man down. Shots fired. And Bob's just learning to love and heal himself now. So here's the thing. You have to be grateful and feel like you're healed and happy and whole and complete before you actually are. This is how.
What?
Yeah, this is how quantum physics works, and this is how manifestation works, and how the game works. You feel it now because that emotion transports you to the future that you want. If you're always stuck in the known past where there's fear and the predictable future of this pattern loop that you're stuck in, you're never going to grow and change.
Yeah.
You have to groove new paths in the sand for those old habits that already have a deep groove dug in.
Yeah.
And you got to create new patterns. So all the times he said he hated himself and he didn't take care of himself, he's going to breathe through his nose. And before he makes a decision, he's going to say, If I loved myself, would I make this decision? If I loved myself, what would I do? And sometimes you have to zoom out even more and detach even more and say, if I loved John, would I tell him to do this? Or if I saw him doing this, would I be like, dude, you're fucking up right now?
Yeah.
You need to do that for yourself sometimes. So that's where Bob's at. We're still going to write him the full exercise plan and diet on Wednesday for the next episode. And we'll go into specifics of the breath work, the meditation, and all this.
Sure.
But just know, eating healthy, exercise, taking care of your inner work, and then doing healing. I won't even say alternative healing.
Yeah, just
Things other than exercise and nutrition are important for all human beings. And most of trauma, most of your depression and whatnot and all these things are stored trauma from childhood. So if you love yourself and you get into some play and embrace your inner child and start loving yourself and forgiving others, you're going to be a lot happier and healthier. So just know, if your goal is health and to get off of pills, you can do it. The doctor can help if they're a good doctor, a trainer, a coach, a therapist, a healer, a nutritionist, a dietitian can help if they're good. Working together as a team, as a support system is great. But my point is, just know you're not death sentenced and life sentenced to your diagnosis of anything. 1 to 5% of disease is genetic that you can't get rid of because you've inherited it, and that fucking sucks. And you can do your best. The rest of us, 99% of us, can cure anything with diet, exercise, lifestyle, and loving yourself.
that's the recipe.
I forgave myself for a lot of shit, and I still do, because it's a practice. That's the next thing.
Never.
You don't do it once.
I did it.
You're
I'm
healed.
done.
Right. It's a practice just like anything else. And you practice how you want to be, and you get better at everything you practice.
It feels challenging at first because what's again happening when you start to change, it's a little miniature death essentially, right? You're
Big time.
You're losing the old part of yourself so that something else new can come through, you know.
I love it.
So yeah.
It's beautiful. We'll see you next time, Bob.
B.O.B.
Later.